In this video, I'm going to be explaining what the current meta is in Warzone. If you don't know what the term meta means, it basically means the most effective way to achieve a goal. In this case, it would be the most effective way to get kills and wins in Warzone. And before I start this video though, I just want to say that if you enjoy Call of Duty tips and tricks, best class setups, how-tos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's try to get like 5 likes on this video. That would be awesome. Well, I'm not going to waste any more time and let's get right into this. So the first thing is you are going to want to land in popular areas with lots of contracts. The contracts you want to focus on is the recon contracts and the bounties, more so the bounties, but the recons are still good. And so once you land, you are going to want to pick up a bounty contract. Do not pick up a recon contract. Make sure it is a bounty one. Go complete that contract. And by the time that contract is completed, you should have enough money to get your first loadout. Once you get that first loadout, call it in, have all your teammates pick their classes. Once your team goes to pick their classes from the loadout drop, you're going to want to make sure it kind of gets coordinated like this. Have 1 to 2 guys run a class with Ghost. Then they can go find a MP7 off the ground for their secondary. And so they'll have like an overkill Ghost class. The only downside is that they don't have a fully suited MP7, but all the MP7s you find on the ground are pretty good. And then you're going to want to have 1 or 2 teammates run a overkill class, like a M4 overkill MP7. And the reason for this is that when you're pushing a team with a UAV up or a heartbeat sensor, only 1 to 2 dots are going to show up, but then there's actually 3 guys. And so this just kind of throws off your enemies. Once your team is all kitted out with their loadouts, the next thing you are going to want to do is do the recon contract. These recon contracts are super easy. All you have to do is secure an area for about a minute. The more people you have on the area, it will make the timer go a little bit faster. So make sure you have all 3 of your teammates hopped on the recon thing, because these things, once you do like 5 of them, that's like a good chunk out of your game taken away. But if you do this, it will show the end game circle, because every recon contract that you do, it will show the next circle. And so if you do 5 of them, it will show the next 5 circles. And so doing this really puts your team at a big advantage over the other teams, because you know where that last circle is going to be. Usually you're going to want to try to get 5 to 6. This will allow you to see the end game circle. Or if you're just going for like high kill games and the win doesn't matter as much, try to get at least 2 to 3. And now that you kind of got everything situated, you know where that last end game circle is going to be, or you kind of got the idea where it's going to be. Your team has all their loadouts. You guys are all confident. You're going to want to start to do your contracts. Only do the bounties. Don't worry about any other contracts. Just do the bounties. And once you complete these bounty contracts, you're going to start to get a shitload of money, because every contract gives you more money. And with that money, you are going to want to buy UAVs and just do a UAV spam. Just use UAVs throughout the whole game. Just buy a UAV, get that contract, hunt that player down, buy another UAV, get another contract. Just keep on doing this repeatedly, and I promise you, you'll get so many kills, because every single time you go try to hunt down your bounty, that's going to be a full team there. That's like 3 kills there. And so it just makes it a really easy way to keep on getting kills. And the way you're going to want to travel from team to team is using vehicles. Vehicles are super in the meta right now. Vehicles are pretty much everything. Use a vehicle to get to team. And for the vehicles that you're going to want to use is the Jeep or the truck, preferably the truck. Don't really use anything else, because these two have the most cover for you, and it's going to be way harder for your team to take damage while you're pushing teams. Sometimes you can run over the whole team with the truck. This thing's OP. It's crazy. Use the truck or the Jeep and just travel from team to team with those vehicles. And so I'm just going to say everything again, just in like a more simplified way without explaining. You're going to want to pick up a contract, buy a UAV, take a car to that bounty, then call on that UAV, wipe the team, and just keep on doing that over and over and over. And another tip I have for you is just always have a constant rotation. Make sure your rotations to the endgame circle are kind of synced with the contracts, and just make sure you're kind of focusing on where you're going while you're chasing those bounties. Just make sure you have a good rotation going on. And another tip I have for you is just work as a team. Push together. Don't have one guy push up. Make sure all 3 of you guys are pushing. Don't have a sniper lingering in the back or one guy going for a fling. Make sure you guys are all pushing together. Teamwork is literally everything in this game. And now that I have covered everything that you should be doing at the very beginning of the game to the end game for the more kills and to get more wins. And now I'm just going to go over everything that you're going to want to be buying in the shop. If I don't say this thing, you don't really need it. You're not going to need it. So just only buy these things that I'm about to tell you. The armor plate bundle, the precision airstrike, UAVs, self-revive kits, and a loadout drop marker. These are pretty much the only valuable items in the menu. And the guns in the meta right now is a thermal HDR. HDR is way better than the AX50 just because of the velocity. And the thermal just makes it so you can see enemies way easier. Another gun is the M4. The M4 is dominant in multiplayer, and it is in Warzone. Very, very good gun. Just make sure you throw on that 60 round mag because that will make it extremely OP. Another gun that is almost as good as the M4 is the Gra. If you're trying to mix things up, I recommend you use the Gra because the Gra is pretty much neck and neck with the M4. The only downside is the Gra has worse hipfire and a little bit slower fire rate, but in my opinion it has a better recoil control, so I can actually down people across the map easier than they can down me with their M4. And this gun I'm about to say is probably the best gun in the game. It tops every other gun, and that is the MP7. The MP7 just shreds everyone. And at the end of this video, I will have a link to a best class setup on the MP7. It is literally crazy, so just watch that video, copy that class, and you'll dominate. And for the perks you're going to want to be using in Warzone is Cold-Blooded or EOD, whichever one you prefer. Cold-Blooded is going to protect you from the snipers, but EOD is going to protect you from proximity mines, claymores, and all that bullshit that happens around the map. The perks you're going to want to be using is Ghost and Overkill. If you do the Overkill Ghost trick, that would be perfect, but Overkill and Ghost are very dominant right now. And for the last slot, you're going to want to use Amped. Amped will allow you to switch your weapons faster, throw equipment faster, so if you have a car chasing you, and you want to throw C4 at it, it's not going to take as long to throw that C4. Or if you're shooting a guy, your gun runs out of ammo, you can switch to your secondary way faster than if you didn't have amp. And so having amped is just a very crucial thing to have. Doesn't really seem like it, but if you play a couple games with amped, you'll see why. The equipment you're going to want to be using is the heartbeat sensor. Heartbeat sensor is super OP right now. If they don't have Ghost on, you'll know exactly where they are within a 50 meter radius. And for the lethal, you're going to want to use C4 just so you can blow up the oncoming vehicles, because vehicles are super in the meta right now. Vehicles will just take over everything, so if you have a C4, you can just blow it up. It's an easy way to get rid of vehicles, so I recommend always having a C4. And that's going to wrap it up for everything that's in the meta for high kill games and more wins in Warzone. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like. Let's try to get 5 likes, that would be awesome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.
Every night fucks every day up. Every day patches the night up.